We are live for the WNBA chat, the chat between WNBA former stars. Some of them still think they're stars. I'm Fran Harris. This is Tina Thompson. And we also have Chantel Tremitiere in the house, and Adrian Goodson will be joining us. So, guys, welcome to, what might be the first of many conversations that we have. We're celebrating 20 years of the WNBA, and what I'd love to do is to have these folks introduce themselves. And we're going to let our guest, who's virtual with us, Chantel Tremitiere, catch everybody up on what you've been doing since you retired from the WNBA. In fact, tell us where all you play in the WNBA and what you're doing now. Is to have these folks introduce. We're going to let our guest, who's virtual with us, Chantel Tremitiere, catch everybody on what you've been doing since you retired from the WNBA. In fact, tell us where all you play in the WNBA and what you're doing now. Is to have these folks introduce. We're gonna let our guests virtual with us. All right, Shan.
Well, I got a whole bunch of feedback. Okay. Anyways, so I played in Sacramento the first year, played in Utah, and then I retired after a year in Indiana. I thought that doing movies was where I wanted to go. So I went off and did one of those. And then I decided to start my own business in Atlanta. And so it's still there. It's called Blank Minds. We do graphic design, video production. We build mobile apps. And we do brand marketing for companies. And then in 2014, Auburn asked me to come home and be a graduate assistant with the basketball team. And more importantly, they said they would pay for my MBA. So I went ahead and said, okay, I'm coming. So I got my MBA. And then after I was done my MBA, they told me if I wanted to go get my PhD, they'll pay for that too. So it's free. So now I'm getting my PhD and it's killing me. The end.
I need to look into grad assisting.
All right. So that's
yes.
Dan, how many years did you play in the WNBA?
I played 4 and then 5 overseas.
Okay. All right. Played in Poland with now rest in peace, Margot Didek, right?
Yeah, that's my girl. Actually, my first year in Poland, I played with her sister. And then I went home with them on Christmas. And I walked in the door and I saw this big 7'2" drink of water. I said, good Lord, do you play basketball? She said, I do. And so we talked and I was like, you got to get to the WNBA. So I called. I never saw her play. I was like, but you're 7'2". So I called Renee Brown and I was like, yo, Renee, you got to go see this girl. She can hoop. I didn't know at the time. So I just guessed. Anyway, I said, she can hoop. You got to call her. And she did. And she came over. And then luckily, we got to play with her in Utah. Against that one that's sitting next to you, hogging all the championships the first couple years of the league. Dang.
More than a couple.
Oh, wow. She said more than a couple.
Oh, my bad. Oh. Excuse me. When you said interview conversation with WNBA and champions, I was like, well, let me get off this chat. You might as well just talk to Tina. Dang.
Sitting next to me is my former teammate and 4-time WNBA champion, Tina Thompson. I will allow you to tell the audience what you've been up to lately.
Friend, they know. I just stopped playing 2 years ago. No, I'm kidding. Well, I've been retired from the WNBA about 2 years now. I played 17 seasons. 12 seasons I played in Houston. I went to Los Angeles and I went home and I played 3 there. And then I ended my career in Seattle where I played 2 years. I then retired and I did absolutely nothing other than take care of my little boy, my son Dylan, who's 10 now.
Adorable.
And if anyone knows Dylan, it's a little chore, but he's great. I take pleasure in doing that. Just recently, a year ago now, I took the job as an assistant coach at the University of Texas, and that's where we are now. So I'm coaching, figuring out this whole lifestyle and the journey that it is. And my girls are great. And I've teamed up again with Fran, and lo and behold, nothing has changed.
All right, chicas. So we're trying to It's not perfect. We know that. This is about the fellowship, and this is about getting folks back together who haven't seen each other for a long time. So we're going to talk a little bit about what you guys think where you think the game has gone since you got out of college. So I'll start with you, Tina. Since you got out of college, how have you seen the game grow?
Well, I think that probably the most obvious for me is the versatility. I mean, I came into the WNBA at a time where it was a very veteran league, although it was the first year for everyone. There were players who had been professionals for quite a long time, just not in America. They were playing overseas. We had a running joke on our team, actually. Cynthia Cooper, one of the leaders on our team, she had played more years professionally at the time that I joined the Comets than I had played basketball in my entire life. Wow. So the amount of experience that we had in the WNBA at that time was incredible. And not that the players weren't amazing. I mean, they were. I mean, simply Cynthia playing 12 years professionally and then coming to the WNBA and making an impact says a lot about the will, the talent of the players that were playing in the WNBA at that time. Loads of experience and extreme students of the game. I think another area where we've changed, I guess positively, the versatility in players being more versatile and post players stepping out, shooting the three-pointer and things like that. I don't know if it's a positive or a negative, but I mean, we've changed a lot in the sense of taking pride and a responsibility and effort in making our game better. I mean, I think the passing of the torch has kind of stifled, and is just kind of sitting somewhere. I'm not sure exactly, but I just remember when I came to the WNBA, there was such a sense of pride and responsibility that the players felt to grow the game, to make sure that the WNBA had longevity, and that little girls behind us had an opportunity to dream about that being a possibility for them for a very long time. I think our attitude has changed just a little bit in that we have a sense of ownership in the women's game, and we're looking more to what the game can do for us rather than what can we do for the game. We're not out of the red yet. We still have to work.
Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, trying to do a sound effect here that didn't quite come off. Okay, here we go, Chantel. So Tell, you retired, and then, I mean, when you think about your time in the WNBA, do you remember those early years and the excitement that you had, and what were you thinking in terms of the longevity of the league at that time?
Well, y'all know me, so I'm like that. I'm like that Charles Barkley of the female league, the commentator type. So I'm not going to be as politically correct as the great Thompson was. You know, the game has changed, and I think it was amazing going into the league. And in my case, oh, you gonna clap already? I ain't even finished. You must be clapping for Tina. Oh, okay.
Good point, Shan.
And thank you. And I'm finished. No, see, when I came into the league, you know, I had been out of college for 7 years. I was at UT, thank you, and at UMass, and you know, I couldn't go overseas because they at the thought something was wrong with my heart. I don't know what that special effects you're doing, Fran, but keep your hand off the trigger.
No, it's delayed. It keeps doing it, which makes it hilarious. Like I did that 3 minutes ago.
Well, anyways, you know, I loved playing in the league, although it was short, and I knew that my time was going to be short anyways. I loved being in the league. I loved, you know, coming to Houston and playing and talking smack, but it was good. It was good smack, and it was good. Everyone was like Tina said, was for the game. I do think that now, whether it starts in college or high school or home, there's a bit of a sense of entitlement about, you know, so I'm in this league that I'm doing the league a favor, when ultimately we've only been alive for 20 years. So the league is still doing women a favor. And I think as soon as collectively as a league, they can understand that the league is doing them a favor and not the opposite, I think it'll flourish. And I think, as Tina said, we'll get out of the red. But until people stop thinking about themselves first, and this whole entitlement thing, I don't think we will.
Yeah, I remember the first year and how we would go into arenas and you could just like, people were looking at us all like, wow, like it's finally here. And that sense of nostalgia that was there on both sides. It wasn't just the fans looking at us like that. It was like us like, wow, we're here. And I think some of the wonder of that has gone because these girls, I grew up in a time when there was no WNBA, right? When you were in college, there wasn't a WNBA. And then we got out and it's like, now these girls are like, yeah, that's what I'm doing. I'll probably go to the WNBA. I might do this or whatever. How do we get some of that? How do we get some of that wonder back? How do we get some of that excitement and that sense of not the wrong kind of ownership, but the kind that where it's like, this is ours. We need to take care of it, Tina.
Well, I mean, I think it's a dual responsibility in the sense that it's not just the players or the fans, it's also the league itself. Mm-hmm. I mean, if you remember when the WNBA was starting, there was so much fanfare and marketing and playing to the audience in a sense that people were excited about what was coming and what was next. Mm-hmm. I mean, now I just remember when I was playing, I just retired just a couple years ago, that I would see people on the street and they would go, oh my gosh, Tina Thompson, you look like you're in great shape. You look like you could still play. And I would be like, because I'm still playing. They didn't even know. They didn't even know that I was still playing, that WNBA games were still happening. Yeah. They didn't know what time the games were. They didn't know where we were playing at. And I think that that's an issue. If you look on the TV, they're selling like the NBA package months before the NBA is even, starting. They're giving you an early kind of price. You get a discount if you buy it early. They start the marketing and kind of create like this anticipation for the NBA very, very early. And it's just a constant business. And they have that with NBA TV. Even when the guys are in their off season, there's something that they're showing to keep people kind of tuned in. Yep. And I think that we've lost that with the WNBA and that people just are not sure what we're doing and where we are. And when that happens, people forget.
Yeah. Shan, when you think about women's basketball, college women's basketball now, there was an article recently that said Connecticut was bad for the game. I don't know how much college basketball you watch, I know you're coaching, so you were probably very in tune with what's happening. But what did you think about the article that said Connecticut was bad for the game?
That could almost be like for your first 4 years saying that the Houston Comets were bad for the WNBA. At the end of the day, if you don't play for UConn, I'm sure there's a lot of haters out there. But let's just be perfectly honest. Gino Auriemma has built a dynasty there. He had a dynasty, and it's been for a long time. And if it's other coaches that are hating on Connecticut, you know what? Go recruit some better players. Be more competitive. Do I think it's bad for the game? I don't like seeing Connecticut win every year. But I mean, if they have the most talent and they're playing the best at the end of the year, that's the way it is. But I want to go back to what Tina was saying about the marketing. I think the biggest problem right now, and after I get this PhD, I would love to go do some marketing for the WNBA. I would love it. That was my concentration in my MBA. But it seems like the WNBA is marketing more towards the sponsors than they are towards the fans. And when we were playing, it was always about the fans. It was about the fan experience and how it could interact with the players. And they're not doing it anymore. We aren't the NBA, so we can't market like the NBA. They're going to watch the NBA regardless. They're going to watch a Stephen Curry regardless, no matter how good any of the players are in the WNBA. We aren't there yet. So I think that they need to get back to marketing more towards, marketing towards the fans, grab some of the players, make some of them the faces of the league. When some of the Comets were the faces of the league, it was just amazing. I mean, it was. Make some of the players faces of the league.
Yeah, I was actually thinking, I mentioned this to a couple people. There's a disconnect even between the former players in the WNBA and the WNBA. Like there are hundreds of us, and yet there's nothing that really unites and connects us with the WNBA now. And I think that's a huge opportunity from a marketing standpoint. I mean, what if we were your ambassadors? I haven't heard anything from the WNBA about trying to do anything.
Well, I didn't hear anything about the WNBA trying to do anything when I was in the WNBA. So
yeah,
it is. It's absolutely, it is a problem. I mean, of course, you get requests or whatever, and I'm probably used during NBA All-Star and stuff like that because I can articulate and dress nice and dress up and look cute and stuff like that.
But dress up, Tina.
Look cute.
No, I'm serious. No, that is the reality because we're selling a certain thing, especially when it comes to sponsorship and the look of the WNBA. But I think the reality is that true fans, sports people want to see people who play well and not necessarily what they look like.
Yeah.
So I think that we kind of get out of the realm of what's important when we're trying to sell sex and faces and not buckets.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like, seriously.
Come on.
That is the reality of where our game can go at points. And I just remember a time where I felt kind of like I was blacklisted in a sense because I was not going to do ads and do things where I was taking photos and this is my life and this is who I am. And I'm on the beach under a palm tree with a bathing suit on. And I'm like, I have a pool in my backyard and I still wear a tank top over my bathing suit.
Yeah.
Like, that's not who I am. So I feel like part of the issue too is that basketball people are not marketing the game. Because if that was the case, then those would not be concepts that we're selling. I am and have always been throughout my entire career looked at as like a fashionable player. It's something that I've kind of been into and it's a part of who I am. But I'm not defined by that. So if you're going to take pictures of me and me being dressed up, do it because that's what I do and that's not who I am. Not because you took someone and put paint on their face and put them in dress and heels. They have to stand there because they can't walk in them.
Yeah.
Like, that's not who we are. And if that's what we have to do in order to get people to watch us, then those are probably not the people that should be watching us in the first place.
Yeah. Women's basketball fans appreciate good ball. And the stories. That's why people came to watch you at Auburn, because they loved Shan. They wanted to follow your story. That's why people watch me at Texas. That's why people watch you at USC. The ball was good, but they were invested in our stories. And I think we've gotten away from that. We got to look this way. And, what is all these tattoos? Well, who cares? I mean, I don't care about any of that kind of stuff. Like, I'm watching because I'm invested in women's basketball. So, Shan, if you had an opportunity to meet with the president, the new president of the WNBA, you got 5 minutes to chat with her. What would that conversation be centered around?
I wouldn't need 5 minutes.
We'll give you 32 seconds. Give you a shot clock.
My name is Chantel. I played in the league. I'm not your typical whatever the other people think that WNBA players are. I have my MBA. I'll have my PhD. I need to come be one of them. That's all I need. Here's my number. What's your number? That's all I'm saying. Because it starts from the inside out. It really does. I remember, I wish the one television show that has gone away that was great was Inside Stuff. Yeah. Because it did stories on players, and they don't do that anymore. How about at Texas? I was a coach there when we did one of the fantasy camps. I don't know if y'all still do them there. Why can't you do that with the WNBA and bring back 60, 70 players from the past? Bring back every player you can from the first year while you still can, and bring them back and have a fantasy camp with them and build a story like that. The WNBA is a story, so it should be about stories, and that I think I hope where President Borders where she wants to go with it. So I hope so.
Well, actually, Shan, the Inside Stuff it's come back.
Grant Hill's the host.
Grant Hill is doing it. I'm sorry,
can't think of the chick's name. I don't know her.
Don't know her, but she's cute, little blonde. And Grant are doing it. I mean, the concept is pretty much still the same. It was, of course, it's a little different with Ahmad and those guys, but it's still a really good show. But it's just kind of not the show that I guess is promoted, the way it should be, because I really think that, especially kids, young adults, stories resonate with them. Because, to me, that is a very good way to get out a message, because they're so by the second, by the minute, like now, nobody's taking the time to go and find history by themselves. So if you talk to them a little bit about history, and it might prompt them to kind of go and do the research and figure things out. That's part of the problem to me. I mean, I am assistant coach on a women's basketball team, and my girls know 5 to 7 WNBA players.
Wow.
And we're talking about over a 20-year period. My girls know me only because I retired 2 years ago.
I think they might know you regardless of whether you retired.
No, it's
pretty good a player.
No, but that's not true, because some of my teammates don't know who Cheryl Swoops is.
What? That's ridiculous.
Some of them are unaware of Cynthia Cooper, and the ones that did know were like, that name sounds familiar. Did she play with you? Was she your teammate? And I was like, no, honey, I was Cynthia Cooper's teammate. So, it's true. To me, I think that's unbelievable. I mean, some of them know Lisa. Some of them. Not all of them, but some of them know Lisa. And part of it is because she's still kind of around, and it helps that she's really tall. So they're like, I wonder if she played sports. Exactly. But they don't know. And I'm like, how do you not know who Lisa Leslie is? It's unbelievable. They know who Swin is because Swin is on TV, but they have no idea how she plays. They just know that they saw something and she was doing a college game and it said Swin Cash, WNBA player, or they mentioned something about her playing, not because they actually saw her play and they could even describe her game. And I'm thinking, like, she plays your position. Like, how do you not know that? So that is totally a problem. Our whole tech age has taken us away from being students, having an understanding.
Historians.
Yes, researching.
Okay. Let's turn our attention to tonight's draft, which comes on in about 30 minutes or so, 32 minutes. Shan, let's get beyond number one. I guess we can talk about Breanna Stewart for a second, because everybody knows she's going to be number one. Who do you think is going to be in the top 5?
Ooh, let Tina go first on this one.
Who's going to be in top 5?
2 other girls from Connecticut.
It might, I swear to God, I was going to say the same thing.
Oh, sorry, but okay. Yeah. 2 other girls from Connecticut.
Exactly.
TV show.
What's funny is that, and I don't know if it's just because of my game, it would be very difficult for me if I had the number 1 pick to decide whether or not I would take Breanna Stewart or Morgan Tuck.
Okay.
Because I know, for me firsthand, what versatility does within the game once you step in between those lines. And Breanna is extremely mobile and very versatile for her size. But Morgan shoots the heck out of the ball.
Yeah.
She puts the ball on the floor with intentions, and she plays physical with her back to the basket. And for me, that's a girl after my own heart. Yeah. So I know what I was able to do by just having the opportunity to do a little bit of one of those 3 things on occasion, and how difficult it was to guard for other teams defensively.
For people to guard you.
It's very difficult. And not just you, it's very difficult to guard that within the lines when you have a good point guard, when you have a wing player that can get in a pick and roll and create opportunities. Like, we won 4 championships simply on that because we had a post player that could pick, roll, or pop, you know? And post players don't want to get out there and guard like that. So I know that Brianna is now a household name, and she is very mobile and does a lot of things for her size, but just kind of my perspective, it may be biased, but I would have.
You like Tuck?
I would have, yeah.
She's tough. Passing her up.
Yeah.
I would go Tuck number 1. I would go Tiffany Mitchell number 2. I would go Rihanna. I would pick her 3. I like, and I got to see up close Courtney Mitchell from Texas A&M. Courtney Williams, I meant.
Oh, Courtney Williams. Yeah. I like her.
But yeah, you know what? If I was the GM and I was picking first tonight, I like Tuck. I gotta agree with Tina. I like her, and I think that Brianna. Now I'm not taking anything away from her game.
No,
incredible game, and did incredible things at Connecticut. But I think when it goes into the pro game, I just think that Morgan Tuck is going to have a better WNBA career.
Because she can individually do things. She doesn't need an offense to do the things that she does. And I think, as talented as Brianna is, she was able to do a lot of things individually because of the type of offense that they have. If you have 5 players on your team that shoot 3-pointers and you could play 5 out, it is very, very difficult to guard. So it just puts someone like Brianna in a situation where she's getting isolation. But if you look really at their team in depth, the 2 players that kind of had the green light to do things at any moment were Mariah Jefferson and Morgan Tuck. They could drive, they could put the ball on the floor at any time when they saw the opportunity, and it wasn't because of an action that they could do it. They just did it because their talent allowed them to do so. So it's a tough call.
I was most impressed with Tuck when I saw them play Texas, and just candidly, because I've had to play. I mean, well, we had Margot, so we had to go in practice. Well, we started, but a couple times we had to play against Margot. You know, it's like to play against somebody 7 feet tall. But Tuck just was like Imani was 4 feet 2. I mean, she was never rattled. She didn't change her disposition. She was just like, okay, I'm going up and under. All right, I'm going by. Like, her face was the same the whole time.
That's
she was like,
what
I got
love.
skills. She was like, I got skills, Imani. I don't know what to tell you, but I'm going around you.
You define that as nice, nasty.
No,
love it. She's nice, nasty. I love it all day long. It's mean.
Okay, you're the GM, Shan.
I ask which one of them can cover Deladon. That's, you know, which one of you can cover and which one of you can score on her. And I just like Tuck.
Me too.
Tina, what if we and Fran, what if we have altered the WNBA and the first pick in the draft goes
Morgan Tuck right there. Boom.
We're gonna be like
that. I mean, listen, that's nice.
If that happens, they are going to block and ban all of our media,
all of our
social media. We're not going to even be able to get internet in America.
I got 14 brothers and sisters. I'm going to get on the media somehow. I'll get back on.
Oh, that is so
Who's
funny.
the sleeper in the draft? Who are you thinking that people are saying, oh, they might not go, and then all of a sudden they're popping up in the top 10?
Amani, McGee, Stafford, Boyette.
4 names.
Yeah, all of them. Oh, no. Amani, Trishawn, McGee, Stafford, Boyette. Well, no, she just cut them all off.
She cut off to Boyette.
Oh, okay.
But I'm telling you, I said this, my brothers and I were talking about this. I said, listen, I don't care how Imani finished the season. If I'm a GM, I'm having a difficult time not taking 6'7" athletic. I just don't think you're very smart if you are passing up on 6'7" athletic. I just don't.
And she's defensive minded.
And totally defensive minded.
Yeah.
Like, you know, I don't care about anything else. Like 6'7" is different. 6'7" athlete is different. So I see her going in the top 6 or 7.
Me too.
What about you, Shan?
Me 3.
Now you played with the girls' mama though, right?
Well, yes, my girl Pam. And you know what? If she has Pam's spunk, then yeah, she's gonna be a great addition.
She doesn't have it yet, but she's close. I mean, she's nice. I'm trying to get her to nasty. So Pam had nasty on top of nasty. Pam was no joke.
Pam was a mess. And it was crazy that Pam, you know, I see myself as old now. But back in the day, like when I first got to the league, like Pam really was old. She was like, I'm gonna take care of you. Because you my point guard. I'm like, no, you gonna take care of me, Pam, because you old. Javale, I don't know where he sprouted to, because he was this big when we were in Sacramento. I don't know.
Listen, in Pam's defense, she still looked good though. I saw
that. That's my girl. Look, she don't look 65.
She looks good.
She looks really good. She looks great.
What about the baller from Ohio State who had 45 on somebody? Who was that? The one who had 45 on someone from Ohio State. That was, I think it's a Mitchell. Is it a Kelsey? What about, is there a Kelsey at Ohio State?
Is it Ohio? Are you sure?
Yeah, she had like 48 on somebody during the tournament.
I think her name is Kelsey Mitchell.
Kelsey Mitchell.
Ohio State.
I think she's probably going to go. Yeah, I think she's.
I like that point guard from Baylor.
Hey, Bree. What's the girl's name from Ohio State that scored all the points? Kelsey Mitchell.
Yeah. The point guard from Baylor who's not coming out this year is Alexis Jones.
No, she's like a 2.
Are you talking about the lefty? Or are you talking about the point guard?
I'm talking about the lefty.
Okay, yeah, Alexis Jones.
No. I'm sorry. I'm talking about the point guard.
Nia Johnson.
Nia Johnson. Yeah. She's coming out.
Yes.
What do y'all think about that? What do y'all think about WNBA players coming out a year earlier?
Well, it's not really a year early. I mean, they fall under the rule of. Oh wait,
you mean like when Tuck is coming out early? Yeah,
no, coming out without the degree.
Let me put it this way: she's a junior. She has another year of eligibility,
but her college term has passed.
Yeah.
So had she played, then she would actually be a senior. But she's only a junior because of her not playing a season, injury, or whatever it is. But her entire college term, like the 4 years, has passed. So she's graduated and she is a senior in academics.
What I'm saying is
like Joel Lloyd last year, right?
Yeah.
Came out. She did. She came out and she had another year to play. And my thing is, I don't really care. I mean, not a big deal at all. I mean, I think women tend to think more about our careers beyond basketball anyway. So if you decide to come out to get, because you think it's a good opportunity or to get your paper or whatever, I'm fine with that.
But what do you guys mean by coming out? Like, I don't understand.
Just because you just had another year of ball and you just for I don't know if the word's.
But that's like the 5th year is what I'm saying. They would be like 5th year seniors. So it's not necessarily really like coming out. It's not like they're leaving like as juniors or sophomores, and
but passing
in that
up
time
another
period
year,
they can't graduate. So for me, I'm like, these kids have graduated, like they have a degree and they could decide to be professionals. I mean, they could literally decide to not continue to go to school
period,
and accept a job. You know what I mean? But they have graduated and they have a degree. I don't know. I just think that that's a big difference than, where it is in the men's game, where they can leave after a year and they have 12
college semester credits.
Exactly. And they have literally 6 semesters, possibly 8, in order to graduate and get a degree. I just think it's a different circumstance. So I personally think that women develop just kind of like physically and talent-wise later in their career. So the 4 years definitely does us justice, but we get so much better with time and just repetition and experience. So I think that it's great.
All right, we're going to wrap up our conversation with the conversation about you two coaching. Shan, I know you were on staff here. What was it like to be back in the coaching game at the college level? Did you make a face?
My hair was right. Hold on. Huh? Y'all know I'm a mess.
What did those duck lips have to do with your hair, though? You were like.
So what was it like, Shan, being back on the sidelines, Division I basketball?
You know what? I loved coaching at Texas. And, you know, I think there's been a lot of times that I thought about it, that Coach Conrad, you know, she asked me to stay, and she said she would have taken care of my grad school. And at that time, that was the restricted earnings coach, and I didn't want my earnings restricted. So I went on to be a full-time assistant at UMass. Yeah. And I liked coaching. I didn't particularly like recruiting. In other words, I didn't like having to sit in the gym for 6-8 hours a day. Yeah. And then this past year, or when I was you know, coaching with Auburn, you know, I loved it, but I didn't really get a full like oomph of it because I had to fight the cancer. So there was a lot of games that I missed, and you know, Auburn had a tough year. They lost like 14 in a row. And so it was tough, especially being back at a school where, you know, we were really good, and through that losing streak was hard. So it was hard as a coach, and you want your point guards to do what you did. You want them to be as good or as work as hard, and that same entitlement thing. But, you know, I loved coaching. I probably wouldn't get back into coaching unless it was a head coaching job somewhere, or if I went to the league and coach with like Pokey or someone like that. But other than that, I love my business is doing well, and right now I'm just concentrating on this PhD.
That's nice.
Okay, Dr. Tremitiere.
Come on, don't it sound sexy? Oh, come on.
Yes, that is rather serious, I have to say.
Tina Thompson, what was your first year coaching?
It was interesting. It was definitely a lot different than I expected. I mean, I have a lot of respect for coaches in general, definitely college coaches. I mean, it is the behind the scenes is very different on the inside looking out than it is on the outside looking in. You spend a lot of time that doesn't have to do with just on-court instruction and playing basketball that I had no idea that happened on a regular basis. I enjoy watching our girls grow and develop and be able to take something from the experiences that I've been able to offer them up until this point. It does require a lot of patience. And I think that I've grown myself in that area because I probably before this experience wouldn't label myself as the most impatient. I mean, most patient person. I wouldn't say I was impatient, but I definitely have grown in that area. I was probably surprised the most at, given the talent level, the small amount of players that were actually students of the game and understand just concepts like verbiage and just kind of being able to have a conversation and then take it from conversation onto the floor without necessarily instruction because they just didn't know. I think that we were very fortunate because at a time when we were playing basketball and being coached, our coaches were serious. They were serious basketball people. So not only did you learn how to play, you understood the game. You could watch it. You could point out things. You could learn things. You could grab and steal things from watching the game because you understood what you were watching. I know that in high school basketball, coaching has changed from a perspective that it's no longer a career. It's kind of like an added bonus. So it's very difficult to have the best in those positions because it's no longer a career. But I challenge the school system in general. I just think that we are doing our children a disservice and not giving them the best instructions that they can because it makes them very difficult when they had success at that level just because of their athleticism and not because they understand the game when they get to college. It's just really difficult. I think that that's a lot of the reason why kids transfer. because they have a different experience. They're being taught, they're being broken down, and they are no longer who they thought they were before they got there.
Right.
And it's not because the coach dislikes them, it's because they have a lack of understanding. So there's so many things that I think could be fixed in our game. And I was shocked myself, just kind of at this level, just the lack of knowledge. I'm glad to pass it on, but I just wish that they were getting more before they stepped into this dynamic, because college is hard. Being a student athlete is even harder.
Yeah. People, when I do TV, people always say, well, why don't you get into coaching? And I'm with you, Shan, because I don't want to recruit at all. Like, I don't, get me in the gym. I can teach you. But I'm not trying to let a 15-year-old run my life, from August to August. Now, it just ain't going to happen, Shan. So I'm just like, the attitude. I'm just like, no, ma'am. No, ma'am. No, sir.
When I was at UMass, right? I was at UMass and I called Shamiqua Hose Claw. and I wrote her letters and I was everything. And I was even shocked to be able to UMass. Anyways, so I go into a gym and I'm following this chick everywhere all summer. And I go to a gym one time, Pat Head Summit walks in the door. There goes 3 months work. And at that moment, I was like, I don't want to recruit no more. I don't do this. All this work. And Shamiqua got the nerve to go to Tennessee and not UMass. No, it hurt my feelings. And my ego got bruised. I said, I don't want to do this no more. Goodbye. I'm going to play the WNBA.
Well, listen, to me, I think that sometimes the approach is different. I feel like in recruiting, so many coaches feel like they have to sell themselves instead of telling these kids the truth.
Yeah.
So upon taking this job, I was like, one thing I can absolutely tell you that I cannot do is tell people stuff that I don't believe to be absolutely true. So if it's not the truth, then I'm not going to sell it. I'm not going to say it. And for me, I have been able to find great success in just being honest. And if kids are not willing to do the work that it takes, I don't have a special potion. There's not something I can mix up and put in your Gatorade to give you a formable drop step. It is work. So when they ask me, I'm going to be like, you are not going to believe how easy and how simple my plan is. And when they don't bite, I'm like, we don't want her.
Yep.
Don't even come to me though.
Because that does not fit the culture in which we're trying to build. I will take a kid who is okay, that is willing to do the work,
and do the work,
than to take a kid that's all everything and not willing to work harder to be more than all everything. It's not going to do it, because you can't get to where you're trying to go. I'm chasing UConn. They do the work. One thing you cannot say about Gino Auriemma is he's not putting in the work. You cannot get to that level and have that consistency without the work. Kids who go there that are not willing to do the work, leave. No matter how he presents it or whatever, you might not agree with that. I don't. But at the end of the day, it's about the work. That is what allows them to be in the position that they're in. And that work creates a dynasty.
Final thought.
I still don't think UConn wins the national championship next.
You don't think they win next year? Is that what you said, Shan?
I didn't hear.
She froze.
Oh, man.
You froze, Shan.
I don't know if you shooter.
Okay.
There you are. There you are. You back.
Oh, I don't think UConn wins the national championship next year.
I would agree with that.
Yeah, it's going to be difficult.
It's going to be difficult next year. It's going to be difficult
next year.
You know
who I think wins it?
Who, Texas? Yeah. Yeah, you're right.
Hey, I like Texas.
Who?
But Baylor's going to be tough.
Baylor!
But I like Texas, but I think Dawn has a lot of people coming back.
Yeah. And keep that thought.
No, I said Baylor's going to be tough. I didn't say Baylor was going to win the national championship. I think South Carolina does, but I think Texas goes to the Final Four.
Listen, I'm just telling you, that they better not let us through that door to the Final Four. If we are making plans to charter to the Final Four, I'm going to add to my bling.
I'm coming to the Final Four if y'all make it to the Final Four.
All I have to do,
we got the connection, Shane.
Look.
I'm a periscope from the sideline. I'm like, look at Tina. She said they was gonna be here. Look, right there. She right there. Look. I'll act up. I promise I will act up.
I will make you believe, y'all. 2 games. All you have to do is give everything for 2 games.
2 games.
Easy money.
I wish I could say it was that easy, but we lost 3 of them in a row.
Well,
yeah,
I can't say that. Final thought, Shan, your favorite. What's your favorite quote? What's your favorite mantra that you're living by right now to send us off? And then Tina's gonna go, and then I'm gonna sign us off.
Let me tell you what my favorite quote is. It's a Shanism.
I got a Franism.
Talent without drive is like having a nice car in your driveway with no gas. Sure, your friends are going to tell you you're lucky to have it and it looks good, but it sure as hell ain't going to take you nowhere.
That's right.
Okay.
I heard
Ponder on that one before church.
All right. All right, Shan, Tina.
Oh, Lord, I have so many.
Kill them, Tina.
I have so many. I think the one that I have probably followed the most is that there is nothing that beats the work. You can't get anywhere that you're trying to go without doing the work. So through that process, believe nothing that people say, good or bad, because it doesn't determine the work. It doesn't. People can say all the best things that they can about you, but if you don't do the work, it means nothing. They could say the worst, but if you do the work, it means nothing. So at the end of the day, it all comes to the work. So stop talking about it and just be about it.
You better preach, Pastor Thompson.
Amen, Pastor T. Okay. This is a quote from Laurel Ulrich Thatcher, and it simply says, well-behaved women rarely make history. Let that sit in for a second.
We don't have to sit like you always call me trouble. Yes. Of course you would say that.
She said, I'm always causing trouble. I mean, I just feel like
she has not behaved from the moment that I've met her. Now, listen, I'm not saying that she doesn't have manners. She does. She just misbehaves.
True.
That might be her middle name. Misbehave.
Yep. You can't make history. You can't have no impact if you're just gonna walk the line all the time, try to be polite. And I know y'all know about that. So with that, I'm gonna sign off. Shan, it's great to see you again. We gotta have this conversation again.
Yes, I loved it. I'm gonna add both of those little quotes to my my little mental quote book.
Appreciate it, Shan.
Little dad for Cam.
Much love.
Auburn out.
See you, Doctor.
Bye, y'all.
Bye.